What's going on? This is Jake Ballantyne with Mountaintop Motivation. And if you're listening to this on the podcast, welcome to the Mountaintop Motivation Podcast. If you're listening to this if you're watching this on YouTube or Facebook or something like that, welcome to the video. I'm glad that you are here. Today's video, I'm going to be quite introspective. I'm gonna share a story. This is story time. And really what it comes down to is just a few moments ago, I felt compelled to turn on this camera and start recording and sharing a story that I feel like it's going to be important for someone, that someone listening to this needs to hear it. I don't know if that's you. I don't know if it's someone else. Maybe you need to share it with someone else. I don't know. But I know that there's someone that I need to share this message with because it was an experience that made a huge difference to me. And what that was the time that I went to the hospital because I thought I was having a heart attack. This was 5 years ago. My son was about 3 months old, and at the time I was spread all over the place. I had my speaking business. I was trying to start my coaching business. Honestly, my speaking business had really come down because I was focusing on the coaching business, but it wasn't really going the way that I wanted to. In fact, it wasn't going the way I wanted to at all. And on top of that, I had just had my first child, which was awesome, but for any of you who have children, know that that takes a lot of time and takes a lot of effort, and of course that's how that is. And on top of that, just a very short period of time, a little over a month, 6 weeks before my son was born, is when my wife's father passed away. It was only 58 years old. It was passed away of cancer, and it was a really unfortunate experience. So there was a lot going on in my life at the time. But I know it might sound odd, but I didn't feel like I was stressed. I really didn't feel that. Now, fast forward in the story, I was in Moses Lake, Washington, because I was doing some speaking engagements at a couple different schools, a high school, middle school, and another middle school the next day. And I did the 2 assemblies in that day, and everything was going great. It went well, had a great time. People thoroughly enjoyed it. I felt like everything was going great. But then that evening, I'm in the hotel room, and I start feeling this pressure on my chest. And then from there, I start feeling this sensation of heartburn. And then from there, I'm feeling nauseous, I'm sweating, my body is achy, and I don't know what's going on. And of course, the next thing that I did was I went to WebMD going, what the heck is going on? And I was seeing the symptoms of a heart attack. Now, I know that there's going to be comments in here say, well, you shouldn't look at WebMD. Well, whatever. That's what I did because I was trying to figure out exactly what was going on. And these were the symptoms of a heart attack. And that's what was going on, is that I was having the symptoms of a heart attack. And so I made a decision at that time, which maybe looking back at it wasn't the best of decisions, but I probably should have called an ambulance. But I just went, right now I'm fine. And I don't want to have a heart attack in the middle of in a hotel room in the middle of nowhere where I don't know anybody. That's not what I want to do, because not only do I not know anyone, but also no one's going to come in this room until tomorrow morning. And so I thought, okay, I better drive myself to the hospital now. So I drive myself to the hospital. I get there to the hospital. They hook me up to all sorts of EKGs and, all that kind of stuff. It's different sensors and stuff like that. And they hook me up to it. And what they end up saying is, Mr. Ballantyne, you actually don't have any issues with your heart whatsoever. In fact, you have the heart of an athlete. There's no problem when it comes to your heart. However, are you under a lot of stress? And at the time, like I said, I didn't think that I was, but I started asking myself, well, am I under a lot of stress? And I went, well, yeah, there's this and that and all these different things. And so he says, what you have experienced tonight is an anxiety attack, not a heart attack. And he said something really interesting. He said, your heart is fine right now, but if you keep going on this path and you continue to have this stress in your life, you're going to be back here, but it's going to be with a heart attack and not just an anxiety attack. And that hit me hard. I go home, I go back to the hotel, I try to sleep, I do the next assembly in the morning, the next speaking engagement, and then I go back home. By the time I get home, I have an appointment with a specialist there. I see the specialist and they tell me the same thing. They say, you need to take care of this because if you do not take care of this, you're going to be right back here again, but it's going to be with a heart attack, and it's probably going to lead to an early death. Ooh, that hit me hard. That hit me really hard. And the reason why that hit me so hard was I was thinking, oh my goodness, I can't do that. I can't do that to my son. Like that's where it was. A lot of people do more for others than they'll do for themselves. And I was looking at my son. I was holding my son, who was 3 months old, and I was looking at him, and I was in tears. And I was saying, I'm not going to leave you early if it's my choice. I'm going to do everything that I can so that I don't leave you early. And I was realizing that this stress was causing that. And as I was holding him, I was thinking, what is this stress about? Why am I so stressed out? What is this? What is going on? And that's when it hit me. What hit me is the real reason I was feeling this stress had nothing to do with the workload. Had nothing to do with whether I was going to succeed or not. It had everything to do with fear of other people's judgment. I was trying to start this new business as a coach, and I was worried about what people would think about me. I was worried that they would think, oh, well, here's Jake, and he's an authority, and now he's an expert, and he thinks he's better than us, and all these different things that I was going through my head, and I was worried about what other people would think about me. And then I was looking at my son, and I realized that my fear of judgment from other people, my fear of judgment, some of it's from friends and family, some of it's from people I hardly know at all. Some of it's from complete strangers. But what I realized is that my fear of judgment, my fear of rejection, my fear of judgment, that was the thing that was creating all of this stress inside of me, which was creating a literal physical reaction, which the doctors, the specialists were telling me would eventually lead to a heart attack and would eventually lead to an early death if I did not shift that, if I did not change that. And I'm looking at my baby boy and I'm saying, son, I'm here for you. And I'm not going to let this hold me back. I am not going to let my fear of judgment, my fear of failure, my fear of rejection, my fear of all those things, I'm not going to let that hold me back. And what happened is I'd been struggling trying to launch this coaching business for a long time. And I wanted to launch the coaching business because I wanted to get off the road, and I wanted to be able to be home. I wanted to be able to be home, to be able to be that kind of father. And I got to say that what happened when I released that, first I went all in at that moment, and then I released the baggage that was holding me back. I released this baggage that was holding me back, this baggage that was dragging me down. I released that baggage, and when I released that baggage, something amazing happened. It was like there was a weight. It was like I had like a ball and chain hanging on to my ankles. I released that, and then I could move so fast. And it wasn't 3 months and then I got there. My goal was, I had set a goal that, okay, well, maybe within a year I can start bringing in $10,000 a month as a coach. Maybe I can do that within a year. On month 3, I reached that goal. Maybe the first 30 days were like setting a foundation. The next 30 days were starting to get clients and getting momentum. And in the 60 to 90 days, in that section of time was my first month as a coach, making $10,000 in the business. And it's grown since then. And that's what's so amazing, is that that's what happened that quickly. And the reason why I'm sharing this with you right now that number I shared, that might sound like a lot, or that might sound like a little, depends on where you're at. But wherever you're at right now, for you to reach that next level, it's not as hard as you think it is. It's not as challenging as you think it is. There is something that is a weight that is making you slow down. It's like driving in a car with the emergency brake on. I'm sure you've done that before. You've driven a car, the emergency brake's on, and you don't realize it's on, and the car's just not moving. It's just not going very fast. And you go, oh, the emergency brake's on. You turn it off, and then all of a sudden the car can go. That's the same thing with this weight. Maybe it's a fear of judgment. Maybe it's a fear of failure. Maybe it's a fear of, what will this person think? Or maybe it's a limiting belief of, I'm not smart enough. I'm not good enough. Maybe it's a belief of, if I make money, I'm not good enough. I don't know. Whatever your goal is, whether it's financial, whether it's physical, whether it's a relationship, doesn't matter what it is. What I would like you to look at is, what is that weight that is holding you down? What is that weight that is holding you down? And you don't need to go to the hospital for an anxiety attack to learn this lesson. You can learn this lesson today, and as you learn this lesson today, you can make a major shift right now. So spend the time, Ask yourself, what is that weight? And if it is judgment, let it go. If it is fear of failure, let it go. If it is fear of whatever, let it go. And the reason why I say that is because that is the thing that is holding you back from reaching your dream, whatever that dream is. It's not knowing the path. It's not having the strategy. It's not any of that. What it truly is that there is a weight that is holding you back. And so now is the time to discover what that is and choose to leave it behind. Thank you so much for listening to this episode, this video, or this episode of the podcast. If you enjoyed this, please share this with someone who needs it. Please share this with someone that you feel will benefit from this message, because this is something that I feel is so important. And I know that there are people out there who need to hear this. So please help me in this mission that I'm on this morning of just, hey, I want to share this. Please help me with that mission and share this with someone who needs to hear it. Thanks so much for listening. This is Jake Ballantyne with Mountaintop Motivation, and I will see you at the top.